The Bawumia government, John Kuma, insisted on COVID-19 instead resulted in the current situation the country finds itself in. The ranking member of Finance Committee of Parliament, Dr. Kesla Atoforsin, at the policy dialogue on Monday, July 26, 2021, accused the Bawumia government of being responsible for 60% of Ghana's total debt stock. Dr. Forsin said out of Ghana's public debt of 291 billion cedis as of December 2020, President Akufo-Addo government accounted for 171.22% of the whole bill, representing 60% of the whole debt stock.
Your debt itself, the stock doesn't matter. Yes, the stock matters, but doesn't matter necessarily. What matters is ability to pay. Are you in a position to repay your debt, or you are not in a position to repay your debt? And that is why oftentimes we talk about debt sustainability, how sustainable your debt is. And so what I will be doing is that I will take you through the debt sustainability analysis and prove to you that where we are, Ghana is getting close to a place that if care is not taken, we may default on our public debt, the repayment of our public debt. But you see, is it COVID-19 that has caused Ghana's public debt to be at unsustainable levels? The answer is certainly no. And the leader said it. Unfortunately, you will notice that the MPP administration is trying to heap the blame on COVID-19. But what I seek to do here is that I'm going to provide you a careful analysis and a number of key debt sustainability indicators to prove to you that, indeed, the problem is not COVID-19. The problem started before, actually, when COVID-19 actually came in.
Throughout the same program, Dr. Forsin, who is also the former Deputy Finance Minister, cautioned that if government does not pull the brakes on the current situation, the country will experience a decline in capital expenditure, even it spends more on interest servicing. But John Kuma, who is representing the Finance Minister at the Minorities Forum, does not entirely agree with the assertion espoused by Dr. Forsin. According to him, had the challenges faced by the Akufo-Addo government occurred under the ex-John Mahama administration, more debt would have been incurred.
Today is not a debate. It's your day. I'm not here to pour sand in your gari. I'm here to commend you for this program and for the courage to even invite us to come and listen to you. I have taken the necessary notes, and I shall report accordingly to my boss, the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. But I can assure you, for all the issues that you have raised, you are going to have good answers on Thursday when the mid-year budget review is presented to the country. Very, very good news. But for the gloomy picture, just two things to remind us that today, as we speak, Ghana has hit the highest in history of our cocoa production. So the economy is on track. Another good news. No, today is not a debate, so I'm not going to debate. Just trying to repair the gloomy picture that we are doing very, very well. Look, the global ratings for literacy came out only a few days ago. Ghana has moved from 37% to 65.5%. And our regional average is 33.3%. So there's a lot of good news in the air. The economy is on track.
Still on finance, Professor John Gatti, an economist and lecturer at the University of Cape Coast Business School, ahead of the budget reading on Thursday, has called on government to introduce policies and programs that will reduce the burden on Ghanaians. He said this on NEWSFLASH earlier on.
We have had a lot of budget review, a mid-year review, and it is all about promises, no delivery. We even had a whole package of promises in 2020 on the back of all the undertakings by the bipartisan parliament to provide COVID-19 cover. All those things have not yielded anything to the people of Ghana. There is very low confidence in the promises that have been made, and I'm not sure that will change to on Thursday. I think there's low confidence. Yeah, I think there's low confidence as to what will be indicated in the media budget because of the experiences of Ghanaians relating to many, many promises which have not been delivered. So I think there will be wait and see attitude to whatever will be said on Thursday. Having said so, if you are a government, you want to address the plight of the people, then you need to bring in policies and programs that will reduce the burden they are saddled with and they are complaining about, the erosion of their income, distortion in their social well-being. Those are the issues that are very high on the priority list of Ghanaians. Sound jobs, not jobs that will be a show, but people want real jobs.
Meanwhile, some economists have been sharing their expectations ahead of the mid-year budget review on Thursday.
Look forward to in the budget is the progress report on our exemption bill. We are in a country that we are not generating a lot of. We are not generating a lot of, revenue, but in the same time, we are giving a lot of exemptions, and a lot of them are also going to foreign businesses. How many Ghanaian companies have benefited hugely from these exemptions? And once Honorable is here, maybe he will be able to update us on the review of the exemption bill. Because if you look at the 10-year comparative analysis of how exemptions as compared to GDP now, it means that it's risen so high, and we have to look at some of these things so that we'll be able to generate the revenue needed for us to embark on our expenditure.
One of the things we also saw that most times, even BOG comes with a reference rate. I think they maintain it for the fourth time, but it doesn't have effect on in the interest rate. Reference rate is about 13 point something now, but still, anytime they review it downward, still interest rate is still where it is. So what is motivating the commercial banks not to review their interest rate for downwards for businesses? So one of the major concerns of trading community, we know we're looking for affordability of funds and liquidity to do business. But as it stands, so one of our major concerns is the interest rate, and coupled with BOG reference rate compared to that of commercial banks' interest rate. Anytime Bank of Ghana review their rate, it doesn't have direct effect on the interest rate, and we don't know. And BOG is the one supposed to monitor the activities of these commercial banks, and I don't know why they are not biting.
There are two things that is a big challenge for us at the moment, and that is our deficit, the two Ds, our deficit and our debt. Now, COVID affected pretty much every part of the world. I don't think any corner of the world was actually spared. But if you want to look at the economy, then you have to segregate pre-COVID and then post-COVID. Pre-COVID will be looking at our numbers or our indicators around 2019 and then look at 2020. You will actually realize that the trend is actually in the same direction. Maybe it was worse in 2020 than in 2019, but the direction we were headed
was already negative.
Now, to other stories, organized labor has justified why it agreed on 4% increase in base pay for public sector workers. The Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress, Dr. Yauba, said economic challenges affected by the COVID-19 pandemic was a contributing factor, hence the need to accept the increase on conditions.
And this year, we had no increase in the base pay. But finally, government offered 13% and we accepted it, after months of negotiations. But as public sector workers may remember, the 13% increase was based on the 2013 base pay, excluding the 10% COLA. Therefore, effectively, public sector workers received just 3 percentage point increase over their 2014 salaries. This year, we made a fair decision as organized labor leaders that a pay rise, however small, is better than COLA. We got government to move from a position of 0% to 4% for 2021 and to 7% for 2022.
Okay, thanks so much for being part of the bulletin. Again, we're bringing you to the studio to have interaction with some employees who are not happy, just as we've told you, about the 4% basic salary increments which their leaders have accepted with government. I'm bringing you in the studio to help speak with Ibrahim Adams Momoni and Azubigi Selassie. Azubila. Okay, thanks so much for joining us on NEWSFLASH. Let me come to Ibrahim. What is it that makes you think that your leaders did not do your bidding?
Well, thank you very much, your cherished viewers. I think as it were, we're anticipating our leadership to, as it were, meet government at a tripartite level to negotiate for 4% salary increment for the Ghanaian workers. And our anticipation before the negotiation was around 15%. We were surprised that when they went into negotiations, they were able to push down to 10%, and our leadership were like they wanted to remain at 15%. Government was able to cow our leadership in submission using conditions of retrenchment and other reasons for them to actually accept the 4% for Ghanaian workers, and we thought that was highly unfair given the difficulties we are currently facing in our economy, and of course the toll it's having on the daily lives of our public Ghanaian workers. And so we thought that they could have done better. Unfortunately, when they went, what they brought back was not what we were expecting, so we had to revolt.
Why do you think that government, you use the word that it's escaped me, but interpretations like government had to force your leadership? What makes you think so? Well,
when it comes to labor negotiations, you don't expect, it's a win-win situation. Government would always even love for a negotiation to end without any increment because they're always on the defensive. It is the onus lies on leadership of the public Ghanaian workers to fight for the interest of the public workers, because when they are going, we expect them to take into cognizance our living conditions and challenges and difficulties that we have. That's why we have allowed our dues to be deducted, for which they use in fueling all the activities. And so the only favor they can do us is when they get opportunities to sit with government and negotiate. Our interest and Ghanaian public workers will be their utmost priority. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. And when they came back, the explanation they gave to justify why they agreed on the 4% was also untenable. And so we thought that we have to make our voices heard and express our disappointment in them. And that's what we are doing.
Okay, we'll come to the reasons given by your leadership why they accepted the 4%. But let me come to you, Azibila. Okay. There are two key indicators which we understand the tripartite committee factor when they are making such decisions, of course, with all the union heads. One, the needs of workers and their families. One. And then the second point is economic factors. So if you look at it, it's like in two folds. Just as government want to consider the need of employees, employees also need to consider the side of government workers. This whole situation, by your leadership explanation, was born out of the COVID pandemic and the whole experience the world has faced. Are you not sympathizing with government? I mean, people lost their jobs. If we go into the figures, we understand the number of even private sector workers who've had to be sent home because, I mean, the whole situation was going down. Government was not receiving enough revenue. Why don't you want to sympathize with government by putting the blame on your leaders?
Yeah, thank you very much. As you said earlier on, not that we are not sympathizing with government. We are Ghanaians and we want the welfare of the country. But we must survive in order to work for the country. We are working for the country, and before you get up and go to work, at least you must eat. And we know that we are not in normal times. It is perfect. COVID-19 effect, the 3 weeks lockdown, we know all those things. But they say what is good for the goose is equally good for the gander. And we have a proverb that leadership by example. Sure. In 2016-2017, we pay our head of state 29,000 Ghana cedis. Mm-hmm. When we were in normal times. Today we are not in normal time. The same president, we pay him 47,000 Ghana cedis. We are telling the public sector worker, we are not in normal time, so stick to 4%. Our ministers, their salary has increased over 50%. The same thing that you look at, even recently, Council of State members, MPs, Name them. These are people that their allowances alone is bigger than a public sector worker retirement benefit.
But let's look at this. When you take the office of the president, he's just one individual. If you take a member of parliament, a minister, I'm sure all these people put together might not come to about 20% of the public sector. We are looking at about 700,000 workers. And one of the conditions given by your leadership, and again from government point, is that for the next 2 years ahead of us, government is going to employ about 1 million people. So if you were seeking for 15% per what you've just told me, and you've been given 4%, you understand 2022's salary or basic pay is going to go 7%. So looking at even 7% is about half of what you're expecting. So if government gives you this and he gets the room to employ about 1 million people, I think we are not just ourselves, but then giving room for other people also to get money.
Exactly. You know, as Ghanaians, we also have our brothers and sisters home who we want them to join the public sector and equally work. But if government let us understand that we want to slash your salary to employ your brothers, that is one thing. But using COVID-19 as a main reason why you are not increasing our salary, you can give us 4%. If we look at the effect of COVID-19 compared to the power crisis in 2014, 2015, and 2016, a report by a senior lecturer at Legon, who came out, it was sponsored by, I think, Center for International Center for Growth, something.
Is it on employment statistics?
Yes, employment statistics. And they came out and said 885 businesses collapsed under the during the what do you call the power crisis.
Yeah, okay.
Businesses
during the power crisis.
Yes, during the power crisis.
Not the pandemic.
No, not the pandemic. During the power crisis. Within that time, I think 55 companies laid off their workers. The government that time was fighting to buy these power barges, pressure on government. Yet, because of good leadership, led by our former Secretary General, one Mr. Kofi Asamoah, who was the Secretary General of TUC, he fought and brought single span. And public sector workers, today you can see us and we look good. Those days, we were taking 1.5, 120 Ghana cedis, and you see nobody want to work at the civil service. Now you come and see civil service, and most of us degree and PhD, including Dr. Ban himself. He was sponsored by TUC to do his master's, sponsored by the same TUC to do his PhD as a doctor. Through the taxpayers, the public sector workers, our dues that we contribute to that union, you are beneficiary to that. So all what we are saying is that the effect of COVID-19 for the 3 weeks cannot be compared to the effect of
the tap to remain on leadership, because they are those who have mandated to fight for our cause. And so once they have been given that mandate and they have opportunity to dialogue with the government and bring us favorable outcome from the negotiations, and they fail, they are those who have failed us. And let me use the opportunity to inform you that on our Telegram page, our membership from last year has risen to 13,000 and still counting. And I'm sure with these numbers, we are sounding a caution to leadership that they should go back to government to renegotiate before we advise ourselves as workers.
Okay, thank you so much. We've been speaking with Ibrahim and Zobia. I'm sure I got his name correct. They are employees here in Ghana. We're looking at the whole situation. About 4% agreed by the Trade Union Congress for the next 2020 and 2022.
Bringing you Africa's creme de la creme's classiest hangouts, award shows, end-of-year parties, wedding, graduations, birthdays, fashion or corporate events. Metro Social has got you covered. We present Pizzazz with Je ne sais quoi. Give us a call and we will be there. Whilst at that, join us on Metro Social every Friday at 9:30 p.m. and a repeat on Saturdays and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on Metro TV.
Are you tired as a consumer in Ghana when it comes to issues that confront you as a consumer? Worry no more. Kofi Capito, I'm here to give you the information, all that you need to make sure that your right is protected as a consumer. We have too many laws and agencies that should protect the right of the consumer. I'm here to give you the information that will help and assist you to get goods and services delivered to you without any worries. Watch the Capito Show on Metro TV.
You're still watching NEWSFLASH here, Metro Television with me, Nana Yawanchi. Now, to other stories. The Senior Staff Association of the Universities of Ghana have given government a 72-hour ultimatum to address issues regarding their Tier 2 pension contribution arrears and their conditions of service, else risk a third strike action and a petition to Parliament. According to them, this has become necessary as both government and the National Labour Commission have shown bad faith in addressing their concerns. He made this demands at the press briefing here in Accra.
Is that the Act 2008, Act 76 states, is the law. The law. We were convinced by the law that at the end of the day, what you contribute is going to be invested, and the principal and all the returns that come with it will be paid to you. And now here's the case: you have paid the contribution and you haven't paid the interest. It means that the principal is supposed to be invested by the fund manager that have been defined by the law. And I'm saying that for government to have kept that money for that long will be a disadvantage to the retirees. Because if that money that government has been keeping for that long, your government is not approved as a fund manager and has no business keeping it. The business of government was to transfer to the fund manager to trade with. Now, the fact that government has kept all this money for these years, so just beyond reasonable that they have a responsibility to pay with some interest. Their actions, we are looking at it to be a cabal of some sort. In summary, a cabal of some sort. It's a coordinated, orchestrated effort by all the agencies that we have mentioned to frustrate, depress, suppress, and cause us to bleed to death. And Ghanaians should also be concerned about the illegalities being committed by the government of Ghana. And Ghanaians should also be concerned about our own welfare, that we are putting our best to the achievement and development of this country. Whilst we are busy doing that, government is busy cheating us and causing us to die faster than our time, pushing us to our early grave. And within 72 hours, if we don't hear anything from government, we will petition Parliament of Ghana. But before we petition Parliament of Ghana, we are going to declare a nationwide strike in protestation of the unfair treatment and the illegalities committed on the part of government against the senior staff of public universities in Ghana.
Now, let's switch our attention away from these labor issues and do something on security, as Lieutenant Colonel Abebio Serbo has hinted that a lot can be achieved if personnel in the national security and relevant officers in collaborative effort would work together to ensure the rule of law and good governance in respect of human rights and strictly compliant. The Chief Director of the Ministry of National Security made this comment during the opening of a 3-day workshop organized by the ministry to train personnel on national security law and policy. According to him, the program focused on training 5 participants from various departments within the ministry will reshape the security landscape in order to undertake its mandate operations. More, I beg your pardon, more of these situation on the effective operation when it comes to security and the state moving forward.
The national security community takes due process and rule of law seriously. Let us all join hands and work towards the common goal of enhancing security governance and respect for human rights. We'll be running 4 more workshops after this one with the aim of building the capacity of national security personnel and addressing the operational gaps given the evolving nature of both security and the law. As a ministry, we have since February 2017 strengthened security sector governance in border, maritime, and cyber through the Security Governance Initiative, SGI Secretariat, and the Accra Initiative. And a lot has been achieved if we put our hands and minds to it.